What's going on with your mic, Chris?
Oh, it's because I've got a scarf on.
Oh, right. Oh, it's like shuffling all over the place. It's like there's a rat on the recording.
What I might do is put it on the outside of the scarf. There you go.
Or take the scarf off. Is it that cold in your house?
Well, I just like a little.
Are you on off?
Neck anti-draftage.
Laugh it up, Fuzzball, but you didn't see us alone in the South Passage. Yes, it's the science fiction rating system. It's Christmas. It's a big film. Are we ready for a big film, everyone?
Yeah.
Chris, you ready? Yeah. The biggest film. Wow. Wow, the biggest film. Yeah. Well, it's Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. And when we did Star Wars A New Hope, this was talked about, wasn't it? Like, everyone was a bit like, oh, Star Wars is good, but it's not as good as Empire, and,
Yeah, definitely.
all that stuff. So we're going to find out today, aren't we?
Big time.
Big time. As always, I'm Alex Humphrey, and I am joined by Chris Redding.
Hello.
And Sam Draper.
Hello.
Are you
Getting
all
Christmassy?
Yeah, is it all Christmas around your house, everyone?
Yeah, I think this weekend's... Yeah, feels like Christmas now, definitely. Yeah. All the presents are wrapped.
Oh, I haven't done that yet.
The tree's up. And, yeah.
Have you done that, Chris? Is the tree up?
Tree's up. Loads of Christmas parties. Been drunk many times.
Wow. That's the festive spirit. That's
Not a late nights going on. But otherwise, quite good.
Well, as you pointed out, Chris, this was on the other night on TV, because you said this is always on
last
Christmas. Last night.
Yeah,
so,
I watched it. It's all fresh in my mind.
Good. Well, that's
I wasn't
good.
going to bother to watch it because I know it inside out. But
when's the last time you saw it before then, both of you? Like the last time?
Probably like within a year.
Ages ago.
Yeah. Was it?
When it went back, maybe when it went back in the cinemas.
I normally watch it at Christmas.
97?
Maybe, yeah.
I normally watch it at Christmas.
I watched it after that Last Jedi came out because it was so awful. I wanted to get back and watch something good. That's the last time I saw it.
Well, yeah. No, it was ages ago. The old Star Warses, I know they're good, so I don't like... I should watch them more, I guess, but yeah, anyway. If you're not... if you don't know what happens in Star Wars, I'm not going to tell you. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to read you the opening title card, the crawl.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Because, if that doesn't fill you in, I don't know. I can't help you. So it is a dark time for the rebellion. Although the Death Star has been destroyed, Imperial troops have driven the rebel forces from their hidden base and pursued them across the galaxy. Evading the dreaded Imperial Starfleet, a group of freedom fighters led by Luke Skywalker has established a new secret base on the remote ice world of Hoth. The evil Lord Darth Vader, obsessed with finding young Skywalker, has dispatched thousands of remote probes into the far reaches of space. So we're on part 1, which is whooped by a Wumpa. Or Wampa, however you want to say it. You say Wumpa, I say Wampa.
Is that a
pull the whole
Wampa?
thing off.
It's a Wampa, isn't it? Yeah.
In the cave?
No,
Yeah.
is it? I'm just gonna
That is
fire
a
up
Wampa.
Wikipedia.
No.
It is a Wampa, isn't it?
No,
I'm gonna have
I don't think so.
Wikipedia going all the way through this.
I
I'll
think it's
just
like
be
a...
I'll be picking you up on everything basically. Alex, so.
Well, I thought it was a
with that.
Wampa.
Oh, it is a Wampa, yeah. Let you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, so it's all ice and snow, which is another reason to do this at Christmas. And it's that first shot is a ship with all the probes going off. It's quite a good little start, isn't it?
It's a lovely opening, yeah. I love it. Yeah.
And you zoom in on like the probe, and then you get nearer to the planet, and then it explodes on the planet, and it's quite like
It's such a contrast to the last film, right? The desert.
yeah.
That's like, you think there's only 2 films at this time, sorry. It is like such a clever callback to the first one, isn't it? Because there's no one being attacked in space. It's all like mysterious and quiet as it goes down, isn't it? And
I'm sure you know, but George Lucas wanted to do snow, because he said it was easy to hide the special effects in space, so he wanted to challenge himself so that you could see everything in the snow. But it really is quite a...
well, I think if you see the original before the revamp in the 90s, it is quite... You can see the matte lines and stuff. It's quite dodgy.
Oh, okay. I watched the despecialized version.
Me too. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yes.
It looks incredible. It looks so good.
Yes.
Like, I'm never going to watch another version again other than that.
So is that like remastered but despecialized?
Yeah, it's like a fan-made thing where they've basically like cleaned up and corrected it and made it as... Well, I think it's better quality than the special edition.
There isn't much special edition shit in the second one, though, is there?
No, not compared to the two.
No.
But
no.
No, it looks how your memory of it as a kid is.
Right.
Yeah.
I just remember like vivid memories of Christmas, just seeing how it was so dark and like mysterious and so good.
Yeah, and Luke's out there in the snow and he's kind of all misguided, isn't he? He's like, "Oh, it's nothing really going on in the snow. It's all fine out here." And then next thing he knows, bam! He's got smacked around the face. It's quite a big kind of shock for the beginning of the film, isn't it? It's kind of it's not what you expect your star to be taken out that early.
No.
That's a weird one.
And do you know why they did that?
To explain his crash, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well...
He had a car crash and he had a massive scar on his face.
Yeah. I mean, it's more than that, isn't it? Like, his whole facial shape has changed, hasn't it?
Yes.
He's nothing like the Mark Hamill in the first one, does he?
No. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely what people say, isn't it? I mean, I think there's people say that isn't what it is, but it does kind of make... Yeah, because he doesn't look like the kind of baby-faced kind of teenager that he does in the first film, does he?
They've all changed quite a lot, because Carrie Fisher's changed quite a lot as well in this.
Yeah.
I think. I guess so.
Well, because, I mean, wasn't she 18 in the first film? So she would just... She's not got like a grown-up face, has she, at that point? I think.
No.
But you know that thing with the scars, though? When I was a kid... I never got that he was meant to have been scarred by that thing, because they don't really make a big reference to like saying like, "Oh, your face all fucked up," do they?
No.
Well, I don't know. He was in the Bacta tank and stuff, and he did have a lot of cuts on his face when Han finds him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And talking of the characters, we see them all. It's kind of quite a quick. You get back to all the characters quite introduced back in again quite quickly, aren't they? So Han and Chewie and Leia are there.
Han's concerned.
There. Han's concerned, 3PO's there, kind of mouthing off as he does.
A lot of the business chat in the base is very good, I think. You know, a lot of the the technical stuff. They never do that well now.
No.
in these films.
No, there's a real sense that there are a hell of a lot of people in the
like the military
base.
Sort of business stuff. It's quite good. Now they make silly. They really are silly. The new ones, and all the sort of military side.
It's very confident, isn't it? In a way that it just lets you like. It lets the camera pan round it and everyone's talking, and like you say, like it knows what it is in a way that films.
And that's the sets and the lighting is like really, really nice. Like the purples and blues they use, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it is really well shot. Definitely, it's and it looks so different. Like you say, it's such a different look to the first film. They could have very easily just done more of the same, and everyone would have been happy. But they really decide to go for something, very, very a shocking contrast, really, don't they?
Yeah,
yeah. And you get also in the beginning. So something I saw on this viewing more than I'd ever seen. At the beginning, they really, really heavily set up kind of Han and Leia's relationship, and I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. But to me, what I saw this time watching it was in these first opening scenes, it really feels to me that Han is really into Leia and she's actually not that bothered with him.
Yeah, well, that's because at this point, Leia's not Luke's sister, is he? Like, in terms of the making of the films.
Yes, spoilers.
That's a decision that's a decision Lucas makes between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. At this point, that isn't...
Yeah, so she's got two people to kind of...
That wasn't even written.
No. So the original, when I get a bit ahead a bit when he leaves Hoth, he says, "Oh, there's another."
Yeah.
And that we know it's Leia now. That wasn't Leia originally. That was the person in the trilogy after this trilogy. I can't remember what his name is now. And
Ray.
No. Like someone, what Lucas's idea was basically for the next trilogy, and then between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He changed his mind about a lot of stuff to do with the story and Star Wars, and we'll get to Return of the Jedi. But basically, at this point, so That's why this film's weird, though, because you're right, Alex. That is right. It's because if you think about it, it is a love triangle at this point, isn't it? And not this weird thing of like two are actually related. And it makes more sense to love triangle, doesn't it? Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it really heavily works. I think if you really, really watch it through the eyes that Leia is this kind of quite cold. She's come from she's a royal. She just wants to get stuff done. She's like leading the rebels. It's all very serious. Yeah. And Han is a bit more like, well, I kind of want to, get with you, and you don't seem that interested. And he's trying to play it cool. But I think there's quite a few, he keeps going to say goodbye to her and makes all these little comments. And there's this kind of good love-hate thing going on. And I really do think it's more on Han's side than Leia's, which obviously really pays out later on in the film. And to me, it really came to the front this time watching it, and I think that's quite a good. It's in the writing, but it's obviously in the performance from Harrison Ford and from Carrie Fisher as well.
The way she is, though, and how practical and like how practical she is in the war sense. It's like it's an important like female character. Really, you never saw anything like that before then.
You understand why she's a general, don't you? Like, in the army, like it's not just a title, is it?
No, and they don't make a big thing of it. It's not like, oh look, we're doing this positive female character, everyone. Hey, over here. She just is. Yeah, you're right, Chris. She's strong. She just leads people. She does the right thing. Yeah,
it's probably the influence of Lee Brackett, isn't it? Who co-wrote the script for it? Who was a female science fiction writer.
Oh, okay.
Who wrote the script with Lawrence Kasdan.
Well, anyway, things are going wrong because Han's worried about Luke. Luke's stuck in a cave, and Han's like, I need to get out there. And all the very helpful, very correct soldiers say, no, you can't go out there. Your Tauntaun's going to freeze. And for some reason, Han Solo just goes crazy and just goes, then I'll see you in hell, and just walks out. Now, number one, it's a bit odd because they are just trying to be helpful, but also it's a bit complicated because you can't really there surely is no hell within Star Wars. That's a question.
I think they refer to things like hell, though, don't they?
And it's a bit. I mean, I don't know if it was an ad-libbed line, but it's kind of causes a problem to the universe.
Because I could imagine things like a place on a planet called Hell something. It's like a
Hell One.
It's used more as a adjective. Is it?
Yeah. I'll see you in hell with all the Hellions located on Mars. Do you think it's like that? That's what you're saying.
You get that lovely shot as well when they shut the doors and Chewie does that moan. He looks up.
Oh yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah. No, it's great.
The whole business of why they can't. What is it? They can't adapt the speeders to the cold.
Oh yes, yeah.
Why don't they just take an X-wing?
They've got them. Yeah.
They operate in space.
Yeah, it's true.
True. Yeah, true. We cut to Luke. He's hanging upside down. He's in a cave. His face is more mangled up than it is later on. You kind of it's that whole like he does the whole like he uses the Force. He kind of grabs his lightsaber out. It's kind of the first times you've seen him do proper Force stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a big moment because like you've only seen Vader do it, haven't you, before this? And
I think it's good how they've actually took a whole film for him to get that sort of power. Like in the new ones, shit happens quite quickly now. With the whole Force.
And also...
then you saw how difficult it was to achieve that sort of power.
Yeah, the struggle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he really shows like the struggle for it as well. And also, I mean, to be honest, this whole film, Luke goes through some shit, doesn't he? I mean, this is the beginning of quite a long...
He's got bare midi-chlorians, man.
Yeah, but this is the beginning of some pretty nasty... it's going to only get worse from here on. He does the same, but then he chops the Wampa's arm off. Now... Classic. But do you know what happens next to that Wampa?
Yes.
You do? You're aware of Darksaber then, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. No.
Oh, no.
I'm thinking of a cut scene from this film.
Well, no, I'm saying in her life, what happens to her next?
Her?
Yeah, she's called One Arm. Quite rubbishly.
Oh, yeah, I've got Wikipedia here.
Yeah, so from crack.com, 6 Star Wars backstories that are total madness.
She's semi-sentient, apparently.
Well, yes. In the 90s tie-in book Darksaber, and I'm quoting from the Cracked article, for reasons that don't matter and won't be explained here, Luke returns to Hoth. While he was away, it turns out Old One Arm survived Luke's mutilation and has been harbouring a decade-long grudge. She united the Wampa tribes, built an entire army. She has killed all the colonisers who stole Wampa land. When we see One Arm, again in Darksaber, she's attacking a group of hunters and settlers. Her Wampas have successfully sabotaged the hunters' ships and driven them into an ambush. She has them right where she wants them, ready to deliver the final blow, and then she sees it. A lightsaber glowing in the swirling snow. But instead of attacking Luke directly, One Arm makes a lunge for his love interest. Maybe she wants to save him for last. Maybe she wants to eat what he loves. We'll never know because Luke cuts her down immediately. There is no epic duel or tense standoff. Putting all the force behind his swing, Luke cleaved the one-armed snow creature in half. So she has 10 years of building an army to take back Hoth to then just be cut in half by Luke Skywalker.
I vaguely remember this. I've read this.
Yeah.
It's one of the Jedi Academy books, isn't it?
I hate when they start doing all this extended universe shit.
Oh, they were brilliant. When you were a kid.
Doesn't make any sense.
They were so good, though.
At least this is a 90s one. I mean, it's not like, at least it's not one of the more modern ones.
I think the 90s ones are more fun, because the more modern ones, it's all linked up and proper now, isn't it? So they have to,
they did crazy shit, didn't they? I mean, like you say, the fact that these things are sentient, I mean, that kind of changes some stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
the whole Jedi Academy thing. There's a horse flying an X-Wing at one point in the books. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It's brilliant.
Wow. Yeah. Anyway, Luke's in the snow. He's dying. It's pretty bad. And he sees Obi-Wan, doesn't he? Or does he hear Obi-Wan? No, he sees him, doesn't he?
He sees him walking in.
Yeah.
So they got Alec Guinness back for this?
Yeah. It's surprising, isn't it, that? Considering all the smack he talked about the first film.
Got paid, didn't he, though?
Money.
Do you think it was just the money?
Yeah. Just think how much he would have got paid for this, considering how big Star Wars was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a blank check, isn't it, really?
Yeah. He wasn't going to take any, this is a small independent movie shit.
Yeah. No, true. No, fair enough. And it's kind of crazy, because this is only still the first 15 minutes of the film. There's been a lot that's happened. It's a pretty epic drama.
I like why all this is going on, all the, Empire, business, all the different generals and stuff, going up to Darth Vader and telling him stuff.
Yes, yes.
There's the bit with there's a classic shot with Vader when he turns around and the guy's too close to him.
General Veers.
Yeah, General Veers. If you
prepare your men and he spins round and it's an inch away from his face.
Yeah. I like to do an impression of that with a cauliflower. That's
General Veers.
Really good. But those shots, on the despecialised thing, which I won't keep going about, but they look incredible, those space shots on the...
Yeah.
The engine glow from the Super Star Destroyer and stuff. It looks absolutely. You'd have to get it, Chris. It's I think it's 30 gig or something. It's a massive file, but bloody hell, it looks so good.
It. Yeah. Well, this section ends with the very famous bit everyone knows, where Han turns up, his Tauntaun dies, he slices him open,
and I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Yeah, everyone loves that. But that is one of the scenes in this film that's always stuck with me as a child. I just remember thinking that was just horrible.
It's the bubbling up intestines, isn't it, coming out?
Yeah.
You can smell them, can't you? I can smell them in my head. Yeah.
But I mean,
it's so creative. It's great.
But I think by this stage of this film, you're in a very different film to the first Star Wars.
Big time.
Definitely.
There's a ton of character development. There's some pretty dark stuff going on already. It's a lot more adult in a way. Yeah, it's a bit like a Western. Yeah. It's an amazing opening.
Really, if you think about it, it's different in the way that Phantom Menace is actually. There are two films that are completely different to the rest of them, because everything after Phantom Menace and this one, Return of the Jedi is basically just Star Wars again, and everything else they ever did was remaking those films, wasn't it, in some capacity?
Yeah.
I think Empire Strikes Back is the one that strays furthest from that, and it's for the better, really.
Definitely, yeah. Well, we're on part 2, things heat up on Hoth. And as you say, Luke's in his pants, he's getting healed up. And then you're on the Star Destroyers, and you've got all this kind of brilliant just back and forth between Vader and all these kind of
the way they tease his head as well, and the guy goes into his regeneration thing and you just see the back of his head slightly.
Oh yeah.
As the hat's coming back down onto him. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and this weird egg thing. Yeah. It's what I read this kind of when I was doing my thing, but it's interesting because Empire. I'd never thought this, but Empire is really the only film where Darth Vader is the baddie.
Yeah.
He's not really doing, apart from the Emperor giving.
We see the Emperor a little bit though.
Yeah, but he's really doing a lot of stuff under his own steam here, unlike
and being a
first
badass.
and
Like
third.
that's the biggest problem with Return of the Jedi is he's so he's such a pussy in it. He's so nothing to him. I can't stand it, but it's a much worse film because Darth Vader is Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back, isn't he? And he isn't anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I think we touched on this when we did New Hope. You do go into that idea that you've got Vader with superpowers, basically, and then you've got very kind of a whole load of generals and military people. And the kind of fact that a lot of them just think he's talking rubbish, don't they? You know, when he starts saying, I think they're on Hoth, they're definitely on Hoth. And everyone's kind of like disagree. It's quite an interesting conflict between these, like...
Yeah. It's the way the Moffs
people.
were in the first one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's, And then we get the big, the huge fight. You've got Snowspeeders versus the AT-ATs, which I thought looked really good. I think it still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stop frame animation, isn't there? But
yeah, it's a lot of mixed media going on. It's great.
But you can see there, like the idea that Lucas is saying, making it hard for himself. It's so bright, isn't it? The whole thing. But I think it still looks good. It was still exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, great.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Tactics-wise, I'm not sure it's that clever, but
no. What should they have done, Chris? What should the tactics have been?
Who? The rebels or the Empire?
Either side, both sides.
Empire should have landed closer.
The Empire.
Not landed so far away and walked up. Just land on the doorstep.
Yeah, and I feel like they'd have more AT-ATs in their fleet.
Yeah, they don't have. They have about 5, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't they blow up the power generator from space as well?
The shield's too powerful to prevent any bombardment from space.
Okay.
Also, if you're going to walk from a long way away, just land all round it rather than all in one line.
Yeah, I just hate in Last Jedi where they try and fucking rip all that shit off. It's so annoying.
Yeah. It doesn't look as good as this.
It's beyond annoying, actually. It's like, oh, man.
It's pretty cool, the whole rope in the legs thing. It's quite old-fashioned, isn't it? But it kind of...
It's also,
great.
always a really good level in a Star Wars game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like in Shadows of the Empire, it's really good.
Super, yeah.
I remember having a snow speeder. It had the little rope on the back.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
But again, why didn't they use the X-Wings?
Yeah, they don't seem to be able
Well, I guess they were using them to escort the transports, weren't they?
Do X-Wings not... At this point in the lore, have X-Wings been on a planet?
Well, he lands on Dagobah straight after, but
he's not fighting, is he? I wonder, because the ones you've seen, Return of the Jedi got the S-foil shut, haven't they? So I wonder if they couldn't fight in atmosphere at this point.
Maybe, yeah.
That's something else the new ones fucked up by making them fly around.
Well, I mean, it would make sense that one would be more suited for space, and one.
Yeah.
The whole reason you have speeders is because of that.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit of a waste of they've got these snow speeders and they literally are only useful for this one job.
Yeah, there must be something else they do, mustn't they? I mean, it does seem a bit weird. Why aren't they on other planets? Why weren't they
probably are, aren't they?
Well, they probably take them with them, but they were trying to... Yeah.
Anyway, as it ends, everything gets blown up. People escape, thankfully, but not, still there's a lot of losses. Vader heads in. They just miss him, don't they? They just all head off in.
Just gets away.
Yeah, he just gets away. Luke's off in the X-wing with R2, whereas everyone else.
There's that bit where where the deleted Wampa scene is.
Oh, yeah. Don't they flood the base or something?
There's a room with some Wampas in it they've captured, and
Why?
C-3PO. There's a shot where he walks past the door, and it's still in the film, but he rips the warning sticker off the door. 3PO does, and then basically a load of stormtroopers open the door and get fucked up.
That's a bit intelligent for C-3PO. That's a bit kind of tactical for C-3PO. Interesting.
There's another brilliant shot here as well. The escape when the shot of the 3 Star Destroyers and when the Millennium Falcon's going between them. You see it from below. The 3 of them kind of.
I mean, that is really stupid. Ship keeping as well, isn't it?
Why would they?
What were they planning to do? Just ram and then crush the Millennium Falcon in the middle or something?
Yeah, make a little wall. But they forgot they're in space and there's 3 dimensions and it's huge. I don't know.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. Very arty. It's an arty shot.
Yeah,
I like the warning klaxon. Like,
we're on to part 3, which is there aren't enough scoundrels in your life. And really, there's kind of a section in the film here where we're kind of back and forth in 3 stories, aren't we? So we've got the kind of the Falcon, Leia and Han, and that kind of developing love story. You've got Vader on the Star Destroyers sorting shit out, and then you've got Luke on Dagobah and Yoda. So you're kind of going between those 3, which I think works very well. It's not they give enough time to each part, don't they? You don't feel bored or stuck in any particular part.
Yeah,
it's quite it's a bit episodic, but it is quite well done.
Again, a thing that is like copied a lot, isn't it? That splitting up after the first act and getting back together on the third.
Last Jedi, where they're fucking around on a casino.
Yeah. Well, even I hate that bit, and I liked Last Jedi. So even I hate that bit. And we get this is where we kind of get our first kind of taste of Yoda in this. What does everyone think about Yoda?
Love it.
Love Yoda.
Love it. It's dark. It's just what I needed. It's that Goonies sort of shit. Brilliant.
I don't love him.
You don't love him?
Well, it's a bit silly, isn't it? It's all right. I don't know.
I don't think it's silly.
He's pretty silly. He's a muppet
He is silly. But I found Yoda in this. I'd forgotten. He's a lot more kind of like anarchic and a lot more like...
It's really strange, right? Because it was so well done, like as a puppet. It didn't look like a Muppet. It was very well done. Didn't they use a puppet in the new one? Isn't there a puppet
in the very last one? They did use the puppet again.
But that was terribly done, like the puppeteering. It looks like someone's hands in it.
Yeah, no. Do you know, if you were impressed, Chris, do you know that George Lucas was so impressed by Frank Oz's performance as Yoda that he spent thousands of dollars on an advertising campaign to try and get him an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor?
Good.
But it failed because it was felt that a puppeteer wasn't an actor. And Lucas felt that wasn't fair to Oz. But Frank Oz didn't care. So
why is he not an actor? He's there, he does the movements, and he's doing the voice.
No, I'm with you. No, I think it is an act. It is. If Andy Serkis can get an award, it's kind of the same. It's just an older version, isn't it?
It's just the way that Oscars don't like science fiction to do, though. They're never gonna.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, I think Yoda here is better, and I like Yoda. I think Yoda here is better than the kind of boring,
definitely
dull Yoda of the prequels.
This is the best Yoda.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I just think there's just too much of it. It just goes on too long. It's the weakest bit of the film for me.
Oh, okay. It's a bit silly that Luke doesn't guess it's Yoda. I mean, that's not really a reveal for anyone. Even a child was going to go, well, that's Yoda, obviously. You know, it's a bit silly.
Weirdly, no, because I can actually weirdly remember being surprised that was Yoda. Honestly,
really?
Genuinely, honestly, I can remember that being a thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Without doubt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was.
Because I didn't see
fairy I love how fairy tale it is. It's great.
It is. It's at odds with the rest of the film, isn't it? That's the weird thing about it for me. I don't know. It's all right. I like the set. I love the bit when when he comes out the water, and I love the bit when he goes to the cave and gets the weird like dream bit. I just think there's one too many times and going back and being on his shoulder and dicking about, and I don't know, just dragged a bit for me. I mean, I still like it. I mean, it's still a great film, but I'm just being, you've got to be critical a bit, haven't you?
You've got to be critical. Okay, that's fine. No, you're allowed to be critical. Hey, do you want a quiz?
Yeah.
At this stage?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So it's what's that noise, basically.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you two things. One, each person, you get two things, and I'm going to tell you how they made the noise, and you've got to guess which one that is.
Right.
Okay? So, right. The sound of an Asian sea otter named Moda, is that a tauntaun or a Mynock, Sam?
An Asian sea otter?
Named Moda. You know what the Mynocks are, don't you? I'm not being rude.
Oh, not a Mynock is, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Bloody
of course you know what a
Mynock
Mynock is, yeah. Of course you do. Sorry.
They're grim, aren't they, though?
Yeah, they're horrible, yeah.
I reckon the Mynock.
You think that's the Mynock?
Yeah.
It's not, that's a tauntaun.
I think it's a tauntaun,
Yeah, it was. Okay, I'm not going to give that to you, Chris, but Chris, this is your one, right? So, a horse noise backwards, is that a wampa or a Mynock? A horse noise backwards.
See, the Mynock hasn't got a reverse sort of envelope sound, which is, I don't know. I'd say Wampa.
Oh no, sorry, that was a Mynock. A Wampa is done with an elephant and then a sea lion on the top of it. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So it's 0-0. I'm going to let you both. Okay, I'll let you both chime in for this one. Well, no, I'll give you one each again. Okay, right. So Sam, a whole block of Alcatraz cell doors slamming shut. Is that Vader's helmet being lowered onto his body, or Vader's shuttle door?
Ooh. I reckon the helmet.
It's the helmet. No, it's the shuttle door.
No.
Okay, so the sound of someone putting their.
You know what? I was going to go just before you said that. I was going to do the sound of when Han's frozen carbonite thing hits the floor.
Oh yeah, that's a great sound. That is. Yeah.
I don't have that sound. Sorry. So right, last one, Chris. If you get this right, you've won. The sound of someone putting their hand over a vacuum tube while it was still sucking in dust. Is that the engine of the Falcon or Vader's helmet being lowered onto his body?
Vader's helmet.
It is Vader's helmet. Yeah. Well done. Chris wins by a point. It was a hard quiz. I'm not going to say it wasn't a hard quiz. We're on part 4. The son of Skywalker must not be a Jedi. And this is kind of where you get the Emperor, the first time you see the Emperor. Now, I'm interested, Chris, what did the Emperor look like in the version that you watched?
I had the new Emperor. I didn't have the old one.
Right. So
Ian McDermott, whatever it is.
Because it was on the... Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's the special edition, I think.
Do you know
Hold on, the special edition, did they change it by that point? Or was
Yeah. They changed it to 97, Because they were already making Phantom Menace, weren't they?
Were they?
Got him back.
Does anyone know how they made the old Emperor? What it is?
How they made him?
Yeah, what it is, what that is. That's not just a person.
It's a Quasimodo thing, isn't it?
It's an old hooded woman superimposed chimpanzee eyes over
that
the
was
top.
it, yeah.
Oh, I know that.
And it's Clive Revill is the voice, so it's not Ian McDermott. But it looks kind of weird, doesn't it? It's a kind of mucked up. The Emperor looks pretty like...
They've actually changed the script, haven't they, as well? Haven't they? On that
yes, they re-recorded all the dialogue as well for your version that you watched. Yeah.
This bit, when this is all going on and they're going to the asteroid field, the Super Star Destroyer is such a cool ship, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, all the shots of it going around, it just looks...
It is, but it's loony big.
Oh, yeah, I know. But it just looks awesome,
I much prefer the original Star Destroyer as just a general purpose warship. It's great.
It's got that little top bit, whereas the other one's just like a blade, isn't it?
It's just so bloody big and so black. It just looks terrifying. It looks just such a cool...
It's got like a city on the top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But only 4 AT-ATs inside.
Yeah, I know.
This bit. So the Emperor says that Luke's out there, and we've got to get him. We've got to turn him, and he can't become a Jedi or whatever they got to do. And Yoda's still training Luke, and Luke's very angry. But to be honest, I can see why Luke's got a lot to be angry about. Really, I'd say he's he has got a lot. Again, there's still a lot going on. It's not a surprise that Luke is angry, really.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan and Yoda are endlessly just being really awkward, aren't they?
Kind of having a go at him a lot about it.
And
it's like the Karate Kid shit, though, isn't it? That's just general stuff.
Yeah,
it is. But they also are very about the fact that normally you're trained from when you're so young and stuff like that. So really, give him a break. He's not grown up in the ideal environment.
I mean, really, he should have turned to the dark side, Luke, because he didn't have the right training.
Totally,
it's true. It's the bit that this bit as well. This section is where as you said, Sam, where he goes into the cave to face his fears, and that bit is very different. In the version we watched, they deliberately make the saber look different, and the breathing is different. Whereas in the version Chris watched, they make it look the same.
Yeah,
but I think it doesn't really make sense. Cause, I mean,
so what's it look like then?
The saber is a bit more orange, not so red, and the breathing is not the same breathing. It's a little bit different. So you're supposed to be cued to see it's not real, kind of thing.
Right.
Whereas your version, they would oh no, look, Vader's there.
Yeah, I think I remember those things. I've seen it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good little scene, isn't it? And it's very kind of prophetic that, within that mask is Luke Skywalker's head. It's quite well done, though, isn't it?
They do a real good job, through the whole this middle bit of setting up the idea that Luke, is either going to die or go bad, don't they? There's so much when he flies off and they go, oh, there's another, and he's not prepared and all that sort of stuff, and all this business about this. You're thinking, either he's going to become his apprentice or he's going to get his head chopped off.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's really good how they keep reinforcing that, so there is a proper sense of peril at the end, isn't it?
And this is the era where you could actually get shocked at a movie because it wasn't all fucking spilt on the trailer.
Yeah. No, they were giantly secretive about this, weren't they?
It is the ultimate of all spoilers, isn't it? Really, at the end of this film.
Yes,
I think,
and we're going to spoil it, everyone. Yeah. So if you don't know it, don't listen. I do think the one effect that I think looks crap, which is also the scene that George Lucas envisioned to be really, really hilarious and was a bit upset when no one laughed, is when they fly out of the big space slug and it gulps, when they realise the Falcon's in the monster and then they fly out. I do think that effect looks a bit... maybe it looks better on the version Chris watched, but I just don't think that could ever look very good, really.
Well, I just think there's all part of it. It's all...
Yeah?
It's all... Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
It's supposed to look a bit rubbish.
All the creatures in Jedi look a bit rubbish, but I think it just... I just love it. It just adds to the quality, the feel and the quality. What I don't understand is the gravity in the air when they're walking around inside of the slug.
Yeah. No, it's all a bit stupid, isn't it, that? I don't see whether you agree with this one or not. When Luke enters the cave, see, this is a controversial. This is a fact, but I think this might actually be wrong. When Luke is on Dagobah and he enters a cave, there is an alien species known in the Star Wars universe as a Sleen, which can be seen crawling out of the hole Luke crawls into, and it's in fact a regular lizard. And it says here that's the only real-life animal to make it into all the Star Wars movies. Now, I don't know if I think that's true. Is that true, do you reckon?
What, you mean they use a lizard in all Star Wars movies?
No, that's just a lizard. It's not anything else. Whereas in all the other films, it's a puppet or it's a animated or it's an effect or something. That's the only time just an animal is.
Does it mean animals without prosthetics though? Because I bet they've got
well, they used an elephant, didn't they, in the first one for the
and horses in Tatooine.
Yeah, see, I don't think that trivia is accurate.
It might be the only one without anything on top of it.
I think it is accurate. I think that's the only time they've used a real world animal without adornments and stuff.
With nothing on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, yeah, there you go.
There might be a fly in one shot.
We're on to part 5, and it's called Everyone Loves Boba Fett. And back on the Star Destroyer, the bounty hunters have shown up because Vader is going to dispatch them to go after Luke because, he's just looking for more options, really, of getting Luke. And I want to say, why is everyone so obsessed with Boba Fett? Because I remember loving him as a kid. I remember thinking it was the coolest character.
Don't you think Bosk looks cooler?
The lizard bloke.
Yeah. Bosk looks awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Or that one that looks like a bucket head.
IG-88.
Yeah,
droid. Yeah, he's in one of the games, he is.
Yeah. But
he's supposed to be like one of the most deadly ones.
I know.
Well, hey, Chris, it's interesting you should talk about IG-88 because do you want to know do you want to know a bit more about what happened to IG-88?
Definitely.
Go.
So, back from the same article in Cracked, which is the 6 Star Wars characters whose backstory is a total madness, from both of these, so I've got Dengar. Do you remember Dengar? He's the bloke with the kind of towel on his head, right? Yeah. And IG-88. Both of them have stories in the 1996 anthology Tales of the Bounty Hunters. So, yeah, IG-88, it has 3 brothers. There are a whole load of these droids, right? When the Imperial engineers realise the droid is sentient, they attempt to shut him down, which triggers a defence mechanism. IG-88 kills everyone in the production plant and goes on the run in an attempt to free other droids in his production line. 2 of the 4 are dismantled by Boba Fett shortly after Darth Vader places a bounty on Han Solo. The original droid is revealed to be uploaded to the second Death Star, where he plays tricks on the Emperor. That's what he does. So he's inside the Death Star. He could do whatever he wants.
What you mean, like in the computer system?
Well, I will read you. This is actually a passage from the book. As the Emperor approached the sliding doorway, however, just for fun, IG-88 triggered the hydraulic system to slam the doors in front of Palpatine's face. IG-88 found it most entertaining to watch the powerful Emperor and his bodyguards unable to perform a task as simple as opening a door. Finally, IG-88 let the doors pop open. The Emperor and the Imperial Guard looked around in confusion. Palpatine stared up at the ceiling as if trying to sense something, but he did not understand what had happened. So that is what that robot decides to do. He's inside the Death Star, and he basically just pranks Palpatine. That's what he decides to do.
It's risky.
It's pretty dumb. I mean, he could do anything, couldn't he? But
was it covered in Solo, the film? This where all the droids.
I haven't seen Solo, but you can go and spoil it for me.
I mean, that's more nuanced than. I can't. It's a short story, isn't it? That book's like loads of different stories, isn't it? I remember.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing I remember about it is aren't all the IG-88s called just IG-88?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I remember being a bit confusing as to what was going on, but yeah.
Do you want to know what happened to Dengar?
Yeah, go on.
Right. So IG-88. The story is called "Therefore I Am." Dengar's story is called Payback. He gained injuries in a hovercar race against Han Solo on their shared planet of Corellia. Shortly after Empire, he works as an assassin and falls in love with a dancer, Maru. He pursues Solo to take his revenge, captured by the Empire upon Hoth. Vader lets him live with the understanding that he is to capture Solo and his friends alive. When Manaru, as his girlfriend, is taken captive on Cloud City, he shoots stormtroopers to free her. He learns to communicate with her psychically and travel to her homeworld to rescue some of her people from Imperial oppression. On Tatooine, Dengar sees Han Solo frozen in carbonite and considers killing Jabba the Hutt. Boba Fett deduces his plan, binds him to the desert floor, where he witnesses the Millennium Falcon depart. Reaching out with his feelings, he's able to contact Manaru, who comes to free him. Together, they save the naked Boba Fett, whose armour was destroyed by a thermal detonator he used to free himself from the Sarlacc. This is from the book. Boba Fett flipped the blaster over, handed it to Dengar. "I owe you," he said. "Do what you will." Dengar holstered the blaster and stood looking down at Boba Fett. "I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, and I'll need a best man. You available?" Boba Fett nodded, and they shook on it.
Brilliant.
So basically, Boba Fett became Dengar's best man at his wedding.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that story just took a real sort of pedestrian turn right at the end, a real.
What the fuck? Yeah, I think Sam's right. The 90s, you could just do what you liked with Star Wars. No one cared. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, Boba Fett, cool design, and then it is weird though, especially after Return of the Jedi and how useless he is in that. It is weird how popular he is, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I just
hated
can't.
How they made a proper thing of him in the.
Well, yeah.
They're not making the film anymore, are they? They've cancelled the film.
Oh.
The spin-off film. Yeah.
Is he in the TV series?
The Mandalorian?
Yeah,
they are.
Oh, okay.
Well, that whole story, that people backstory is covered in the.
Have you seen the cast list for that Mandalorian?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's mental. Werner Herzog's in it.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, he pops up in lots of things.
Yeah, that's true.
Nick Nolte.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the film, so what's happening? Yoda Yoda and Obi-Wan are telling Luke he can't leave because Luke's kind of seen into the future, hasn't he? And he's seen that there's some bad stuff going on. But obviously they advise him that he shouldn't go, and if he goes now, he might jeopardise everything, but he has to go, so he goes. And then we get the famous "there is another line," which now we know from Sam that in fact it was
another.
It's a completely other. It's not even the other that we know it is. And then there's some great stuff with... oh, no, I jumped ahead a bit, sorry. I jumped
Cloud
ahead.
City in it?
Yeah, no, I'm going backwards. Sorry, I missed a page. I've got so many pages here. So, right. Scrap that. Going back, there's lots more training. Leia... where are we up to? Anyway, they escape. They escape the asteroids, and they need somewhere to go. And that's
they did the whole trash thing where they float away.
Yeah,
in the
they float away in trash. Yeah, and Leia gives him a kiss for being clever. Gives Han a kiss. Yeah. But Fett spots them. Sorry, yeah, that's where we're at, and kind of follows them. And yes, this is when
the ship's
Yoda...
quite good. Fett's ship.
Oh,
Slave
really
One.
good.
Yeah,
Slave One. Yeah, that's a great ship. Yeah. That's when, this is the point where Luke realises he can kind of see stuff into the future. He can kind of, he's got this kind of power to see all times, all the past, present, the future, everything. And then we get to Cloud City, part 6, Cloud City. It's a pretty good, it's very good design, Cloud City, isn't it? Again, looks very different from everything else.
The special editions really added to it a lot, right?
Yeah.
The views of it and
out the windows and
it was
stuff
quite
like
a claustrophobic set before then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got good, a kind of Art Deco, hasn't it, vibe, 1920s kind of metropolis.
Also, I like the idea of Bespin, like a planet you can't live on, but you just live above it because it's worth, mining stuff out of the planet below. It's a good idea.
Yeah. And we get introduced to Lando, who is the administrator of the facility. It doesn't sound that impressive when he says it, really, does it?
No. He's pretty cool, isn't he, though?
But there's also loads
I love his cloak.
Yeah.
Imperial officers just knocking around in the corridors.
Oh, was there? Oh, I didn't notice that.
Isn't that? It's there's people in Imperial uniforms just.
Yeah. I never noticed.
I'm sure there's a guy with a uniform.
Probably.
Yeah, they probably should have clocked onto him a bit earlier.
But yeah, no, Lando. What do we all think of Lando? He's great. I like him.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Is he ruined in Solo? I haven't seen Solo, but do they ruin that character?
He's terrible in Solo, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think Danny Glover's impression of him is pretty good. Not Danny Glover, Donald Glover.
Yeah.
But, no, the whole film was crap, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah. But he's a good character, and it's good to have kind of as Han Solo is almost a bit less Han Solo in this, isn't he? Because he's not as roguish and as kind of... He's not doing so much. It's a lot more character-based. So it's good to have Lando, who's almost like another Han Solo, isn't he?
Yeah.
You kind of...
Again, he's a character who I think he gets ruined a bit by Return of the Jedi. I don't like him as much in that. But the idea of, that the Empire is so everywhere and so powerful that, just this random old friend they happen to find, Vader can get to him. It's a really cool... it's a really nice idea, isn't it? It just feels very, scary, doesn't it? Like a lot of Empire Strikes Back does. It's very sinister the way it all works out, because Lando doesn't want to do it, does he?
No.
It's also quite realistic in the sense that it's it's an empire of, people working with the Empire. It's they don't have to have, it doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be super nailed down. But people just work with the Empire because that's the main shit going on.
Yeah. You get the sense it's so big they can't manage it all, don't you? But if there's a problem, the Empire come in and sort you out, get you back on track. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's good. I do think that one of the cleverest bits is that you get that shot where they're kind of walking and talking at the beginning of this Cloud City bit, and he's just chatting, and it's very it's just one of those. Yeah, it's just one of those scenes, isn't it, where you're just it's not really important what they're saying. They're just trying to show you the world and what's going on around. But then later on, when Lando turns up and says, "Oh, hey, come over here, I've got something to show you," you get exactly the same thing, and they're walking through the corridors, and it's all "Oh, yeah, it's all light," and then the doors open, and who's in there?
Yeah.
It's Darth Vader.
Such a great turn.
And Boba Fett, and it's a brilliant little twist, because I think you really don't see that coming, because it just seems like another one of those boring, just some exposition.
And that bit before as well, and walking around bit, like you were saying earlier, Chris, about how the new films... They don't get that kind of incidental dialogue, right? Do they? This is another bit where it's so natural, isn't it? I guess it's the benefit of having a competent scriptwriter on it and not Lucas.
I think they'd struggle with a character with the subtleties of him having to work with the Empire.
Yeah. No,
and the way everything's black and white now.
Yeah, and they sell it so well. As you say, we just him discussing what's going on with the business and what's happened since he last saw it.
Because he actually backtracks to Vader quite a lot, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, because he says, they arrived before you did, which I just don't believe.
You're changing the deal all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I don't change it further.
No, you start almost, you're kind of you like Lando, then you think, oh, you bastard. But then by the end of this, you're kind of oh no, actually, you're just as stuck as everyone else. You're kind of
that's it, yeah.
You've been tricked. Yeah, definitely. Now we're on our final planet of the film. Would you like a planet quiz?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 planets mainly in this film. I'm sure that maybe that Chris will disagree, but you've got Hoth, Dagobah, and Bespin. So I will because Chris won the last quiz. Sam, pick one of those 3 planets, and I'm going to ask you some questions on that planet.
Oh, I'll go with Bespin.
Bespin. Okay, right.
Difficult.
So, Bespin, it's an immense gas giant located in the vicinity of the Mynock system, a desolate sector of the galaxy. It's got its layers were a source of rare Tibanian gas, which is harvested and refined in several mining complexes. Anyway,
that's a fact I knew. So
yeah. Oh, okay. How many moons has it got?
3.
3. It's 2. Sorry. What is the rotation period of Bespin? In hours.
Jesus.
In hours.
I'm going to say quite long because it's always quite bright. 36 hours.
Oh, it's short. It's 12 hours.
Oh.
What's the orbital period in days?
Has someone written all this shit down?
Yes, someone has written all this shit down.
112 days.
5,110 days.
Wow.
Okay, do you want one more?
Long way out then. Yeah, go on then.
What's the population?
Of Bespin?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be low, isn't it?
It's only what's on the city, right?
There's a couple of them, I think, isn't there? There's more than one cloud city.
It's
I'm going
quite
to say
big.
400,000.
It's 6 3 zeros, 3 zeros. So that's what,
6 million.
6 million.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Sorry about
Because I
that.
think there's Cloud City and there's other like mining bases around the planet, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, what do you want? Dagobah or Hoth?
Hoth.
Hoth, right. So, remote icy planet, 6th planet in the star system of the same name. It hosts the Echo Base, as we know. Right, what's the population of Hoth? Not including, I guess
base.
they mean, I guess they mean humans, or they mean, they I don't know. Well, anyway.
The Hoth planet is supposed to be uninhabited.
Right, so, give me a number, or give me a...
Well, I don't know. Not very many.
Not many?
Yeah.
How about
0 to,
okay, I'll begin the sentence and you finish it with a number. Fewer than...
100.
It's fewer than 10.
Right.
So, but I mean, it is fewer. That's fewer than 100. So
How many is it?
It's fewer than 10. That's it.
Oh, right, it's just that.
That is it. It's fewer than 10.
Who are those people?
Just real
I think
weirdos.
it's just whoever happens to have crashed there at any given time.
Yeah. What % is the surface water?
0%.
It's 33% surface water. How many moons does it have?
3.
Oh, it does have 3 moons. Well done, Chris.
Cool.
And what is the orbital period in days?
Probably about 600.
Ooh, 549 local days.
I just
That's
thought
not
it'd
bad.
go like slower around the sun than Earth.
So Chris has got 2 there. I'm going to give him 2. So Sam, I'm going to give you Dagobah to win it back. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
So it's a planet in Dagobah system, one of the purest places in the galaxy within the Force. How many moons has Dagobah got?
12.
None. Okay, what is the orbital period of Dagobah in days?
What's 365?
341 days. Oh,
that's
that's
not
very
far off.
near. That's pretty good. Okay, last one. What is the distance from the core in light years?
The core of the galaxy.
I don't. All right, we'll leave that one. That is a bit.
It's in the outer rim, right?
Yeah, it must be a
No,
long
what's
way
the
out.
all right? What's the diameter in kilometers?
400?
14,410.
Have you got the population of Dagobah? Is it just one?
No, they didn't. I don't think they have the population on that. I tried to pick the things that were kind of like concise, like that. Actually had, it's all on Wikipedia.
There's some interesting animals that live on Dagobah, like in the extended universe.
Yeah.
You know what annoys me about Wikipedia? How they've like split canon and legend now, and it always goes to the canon. But I want to see the legend stuff because that's where you get all the batshit crazy stuff on there.
Yeah, that is a bit. Yeah, they shouldn't really do that. It's all there. It was all licensed at one point, so...
There's a swamp slug, which looks quite good.
We're back on part 7, in which Han Solo is terribly tortured. So basically now we're really heading into the kind of real dark bits of the film. So Luke is in space. He's heading to Cloud City. Doesn't know what's going on. Chewie has found 3PO is all smashed up, but we don't know why he's been smashed up. But he puts him back together, and he kind of repeats his last message, doesn't he? And there's stormtroopers there. Stormtroopers here. And Han is being tortured, and we see it, and that's kind of okay. But it's when you kind of cut outside and you hear Harrison Ford screaming. It's really, really horrible, isn't it? I mean, they proper go for it with this bit. And even when he kind of comes in and he makes a little joke like, "Oh, I feel terrible," it's not really it's still not really funny, is it? Like I mean, like as a kid, I can't really imagine you thinking that. It's all pretty dark at this point. You're not really thinking there's any positives, really. Yeah,
even the way it's all like shot and lit, like there's like low roofs and like lots of shadows and stuff like that. Like it's properly like because they do a real good job of removing all that light out of Cloud City for this like second bit. Everything's so you're in the underneath of it, and it's such a clever way of like making you realise they're in the shit right now. It's brilliant.
Lando kind of tries to talk them around, saying they're not really interested in them, and the princess is going to be okay. But it's all pretty bad. And it kind of this section ends with them marching Han to the freezer to test it out. So we move to part 8. It's about to get dark, and this is like the most famous. Again, this is another really really famous scene. Is it? I think the way they shoot this is amazing. The kind of the blue and the red.
It's incredible. Yeah.
It looks
it's like orange, isn't it?
Yeah, it just looks brilliant, and it's got the classic "I love you, I know" scene. Which do you know? There's quite a lot. There was quite a lot of controversy about that. Why? Do you know about the script? Well, it's interesting you say that. A lot of people believe it was improvised, but in the original script, he's supposed to say, "Just remember that, Leia, because I'll be back." Right. But by the time of filming, Harrison Ford wasn't entirely certain he wanted to come back for the third film. So he changed it to be I know, right? And people said it was ad-libbed. However, in Alan Arnold's book, Once Upon a Galaxy, A Journal of the Making of the Empire Strikes Back, there's a transcript of a discussion between Ford and Ivan Kershner, in which Ford suggested the line. Carrie Fisher was upset she had not been part of the process, and Lawrence Kasdan was disappointed that his dialogue had been changed because he thought it was really good. What he'd originally wrote was better. Because Carrie Fisher... Yeah, well, he's wrong. Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill were signed on for all 3, but Harrison Ford refused to sign on for the third film, didn't he? So he wanted to be killed off because he thought he'd kind of had done his part. Yeah. But obviously they got him back. I mean, it's brilliant when it's a brilliant plot device putting him in the carbonite, isn't it? Because he's kind of he could have been dead, but he's not dead. But it's horrible, but equally it's not the worst. Like they don't just kill him off.
It's so obviously I know is so like in character and the most perfect thing Han Solo can say, isn't it?
Yeah.
But everyone in this, I think Carrie Fisher, I don't think she's a great actor at all. But this scene, she does so well. Like the close-up shots of when he's going in and stuff like that. It looks.
Were they having an affair at this point?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they were.
Not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looks amazing. And like the silhouettes of the Imperial officers at the back and stuff. This whole, it's just, it's just brilliant. Yeah, and I think from this point onwards, the film is like pretty much perfect for me. This till the end.
No, I agree. Yeah. And also, like I said, I think that that whole "I know" line, I do think that, to me now, watching it this time, what he's saying, he isn't saying it in a kind of smug, annoying "I know" way. What he's saying is, I now know you do love me, because I loved you before, and now I see that you love me as well. So I read it a very different way this time. It wasn't this kind of like, wires cracking, haha. It was a lot more kind of emotional this time, I thought. But
I never took it as macho,
doesn't he?
Yeah, he does think he's about. Yeah. What, you never thought it was a throwaway line, Chris?
No, I never thought it was a macho thing.
No, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I think some people do.
Well, no, but it is as well. That's why it's so clever, because it is like that. It fits his character so well, because it does work on that level as well. That's why it's so, because he's saving face and acting like Han Solo, but at the same time being really vulnerable. That's why it's such a clever line, isn't it? Because it has got both those meanings to it. It's brilliant. Yeah, so clever. Yeah. Even if it is apparently accidental.
I love them little pig things.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Run the
yeah. Oh yeah, they're weird, those things, aren't they? Yeah, they're like little workers I don't know what they're called. Yeah. Anyway, the Vader alters the deal again, and he wants to take everyone with him. But Lando kind of like betrays Vader, and kind of there's a big fight, isn't there? There's all these big fighting in the corridors, and Boba Fett and Luke have a bit of a kind of blaster battle, and it's all quite confused. Luke sees Leia as she gets dragged off, and then we're pretty much into part 9, which is Luke versus Vader, round 1. And you're kind of pretty much like, although you've got them kind of getting away and all that.
It's so well shot, though, isn't it?
Yeah, this is just like a fight scene, isn't it? Really, from now on.
Just compare it like in cinematography compared to the first film.
Yeah,
it's like streets and streets ahead. Like
massively. Yeah,
it's epic.
And it's also really like a real cat and mouse, isn't it? Because he keeps going into rooms, and then Vader just appears, and then there's like really good sword fighting, and then it's like
even the understanding of like the lightsaber's glowing, so therefore we're going to fill it with fog, and put the characters in dark.
Yeah,
it's so the shot. I think it's at the start, isn't it? Like a shot from below when he's
you just see his silhouette, and
like that Luke's back to us, and then Vader's the other way around, and it's just such a. It's classic, isn't it? It's an amazing shot.
No, it's brilliant. No, it's really,
and the
really
way
good.
The sound just punctuates the scenes as well.
Yeah,
great.
Do you know that with the exception of the bit where he gets sucked out the window, Mark Hamill did all his own stunts in this?
And really, that's probably why it's so good, isn't it? Because
it's always him.
When they start flipping around and being stupid in other films, it never has the weight of this, does it? Whereas
no.
That whole idea, like this is a, and like Lucas kept saying, "Oh, we've only ever seen an old man versus an apprentice." But that's why it's so good, because Vader's just like he's like the big bastard, just like going in with power, and Luke's chipping away at him. It's a classic sort of fight, isn't it? Which you don't get when you've got Yoda doing backflips and bouncing off walls and stuff, do you?
They're just silly. Yeah, no. It's a really like I said, it's really extended. It goes on for a really long time. All the while,
I'm pretty sure though, if it was like Darth Maul in this situation, Luke would be in shit.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
No, fair enough. No, that's true. We move to part 10, the twist that everybody knows. So basically, they keep fighting. It kind of, the battle goes on and on and on and on. Then we get that bit, the shot everyone knows, where he's kind of crawls out. He's kind of been defeated, hasn't he? And he crawls out onto that pipe. And then you have like the very, very famous dialogue. And yeah, as you said, it was a twist that was. I mean, I never saw that coming. It's very well written, because you can't really work it out because of how they talk. But then it's not annoyingly hidden, if you know what I mean, is it?
Yeah.
It does make sense to say that his father was killed by Darth Vader, because he wasn't Darth Vader before. Yeah. So it does all make sense. And I think Hamill's really good in this scene. I think it's a really good performance.
Yeah, the like. Obviously, the shouting no's a bit weird, but like he sort of like resigns himself to jump in, and he like drops the emotion really fast, and then when he jumps off, that's really good. I think he does that really well.
Yeah, and
gets hold of himself, doesn't he? In a way,
yeah.
Like,
And I think after this is really good, where he's calling out to Ben, isn't he? Yeah. Like, in fact, Obi-Wan betrayed him.
Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is like you say. In fact, actually, this is the point where he would turn to the dark side, because everyone's lied to him pretty much. So he is kind of in this turmoil.
But Leia's there for him.
Well, this is so. Hold on, so Sam, if they hadn't thought that they were related, then how did they?
How did she get the word?
Yeah, how did they get that then?
Because they're the love interest, aren't they?
Oh, so it's because they were in love.
But she hasn't got powers.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, but that's what was meant to be. It was not. She wasn't a sister. Because also, like, if they wouldn't have made them kiss, would they? Like extended.
No, we missed that out. But yeah, they do.
We're probably thinking it was more like Luke reaching out to her rather than her senses.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know, but I mean, it's clear that especially saying Harrison Ford wasn't necessarily going to come back. They're definitely at this point the romance angle's still definitely there, isn't it?
Yeah,
the triangle's still a triangle, not a creepy sister brother solo angle.
True, I guess. Anyway, he reaches out to Leia. Luke's hanging onto this weird little aerial, like a TV aerial. He gets picked up. Lando saves him, kind of, which is quite good. Yeah, the hatch. Open the hatch. Yeah, they get the hatch.
And he hits the he falls on the antenna, it wasn't that looks really painful. You know, the sound.
It's pretty grim, all that, where it's just hanging there.
Yeah.
And then the door closes on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then really it's kind of the last final few shots of the film, where basically they're away, they're with the rebels, Luke's getting better, and Chewie and Lando go off to find Han Solo. And then this is here where we have one of the weirdest things in all the Star Wars films. I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. Why the hell is Lando wearing Han Solo's clothes?
Is he?
Yes, he is wearing a white shirt and a black waistcoat, and he's sitting in... Why is he wearing that particular outfit while he sits in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon?
I never really thought of that, but you're right.
To leave?
In the final
he takes
shot...
off at the end. Yeah,
the final shot he's wearing...
The wardrobe is still the same wardrobe.
Yeah, but you're not going to steal your dead friend's clothes, are you?
No.
He's lost all his clothes, though.
But he's lost his clothes. Well, there was no other outfit that he could put on. He puts on exactly the same outfit.
Also,
as Han Solo
he takes off a Chewbacca. It's a bit insensitive for Chewbacca. It's like, oh, now I'm your new shipmate, and I'm wearing your dead friend's clothes.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like they're almost saying that that's the clothes you wear to fly the Millennium Falcon, which is so
They always
stupid.
dissing Chewie like he's non-sentient, like he never got a medal in the first film.
No, he should have, shouldn't he?
And also, he should have inherited the Falcon after Han Solo died, not fucking
That's
Lando.
true. No, not
Well,
that,
no, the
though.
problem with that is, though, like, how would Chewbacca dock for anyone? Because no one can understand what he's saying, can they?
No, true, I guess.
He couldn't get around the galaxy because everyone would be like, what's going
Well, then
on?
he gets a first mate who can speak English.
He could get that guy from the third film, the really weird alien guy. They could not make sense together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who flies the Falcon. Anyway, Luke gets a robotic hand, which I think is a really good effect. I think that hand looks amazing. It looked really good to me. Anyway, well, I thought it looked good.
Yeah, they can't sort the scars on his face, but they can give him like a perfect hand.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone says it's a real downer ending, and it is, but it's still beautiful, isn't it? They stand at that window, kind of paired off, and you see the Falcon fly off, and they are safe. I mean, it's not the biggest downer ending of any film ever, is it? I mean, there are more depressing endings, I would say.
It's pretty, like, hopeless, though, isn't it?
But they're off to find
there is
him.
hope. There
is hope.
Yeah.
They're with the rebels again. Luke's hand's fine. They're all reunited. They're off to find Han. They're not like, oh, we've given up on him. They are, I think it was more hope than I remembered there being.
I think it's the gap that Harrison Ford leaves, isn't it, I suppose? That's the real thing. Is like, because he's gone, they're not Star Wars anymore, you know?
No, that's true. No, that's true. And then that's the end of the film. We've made it through Empire Strikes Back.
Brilliant.
And it is brilliant. Best sequel ever made, do you reckon? I think it might be. I think it's up there.
I mean,
Alien
it's better
3.
than its first.
Aliens. Yeah, Aliens.
No, Alien 3.
But I don't think Aliens is better than Alien.
Alien 3.
Alien 3.
No.
I actually think this is better than the film that came before it.
Oh,
Well,
definitely,
yeah. Well, my problem. Okay, as I love this film, but I don't know if it stands on its own without the first film.
Who gives a shit?
Oh. Okay. Sure, that's an opinion. That's
Wow.
Sam.
I wonder. That's a good question.
Because
I mean,
although
who gives a shit? But
yeah. I mean,
No,
I
I don't
know
know.
you'd
I don't
work
know.
out
It's
the
a-
characters. I'm not saying you wouldn't get who the characters are, but
I think it would. I think it stands on its own more than a Star Trek sequel does. But I think you're right.
Yeah.
You'd be missing a lot of the.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I think it probably.
But also, my other thing I would say is, don't you think that Empire is made better by the fact that in Star Wars, as we discussed, the characters are such huge stereotypes. They're archetypes. They're just the hero, the innocent hero, the wise old man, the rogue, the robot, the princess. And why Empire is so good is because it takes those archetypes and it gives you so much more to those characters. They all become so much more nuanced and so much more interesting. But without them being set up in this kind of boring stereotype way in the first place, they wouldn't be as interesting. There'd be nothing to flesh out if it had started from this point.
Yeah.
And it is in fact that there's so much character that in this film and so little in the first, that's why this film is so much better in a way.
It's lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
I think
Well, they just picked a great director and a great writer, really.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. everything's on its side, and also for me, that's why it's sort of episode 4 and 5 are perfect, and everything else isn't as good because they lose it. Return of the Jedi completely. It doesn't have that thing. You're right. They are playing against the first film so well, and also it does help that Lucas has handed off, directing and writing to more competent people, and it's sort of. It's the ideal thing, really. Of like he's made the world, and now he's letting good people play in it, which is a thing that they get wrong repeatedly after this, don't they?
Yeah.
And it still feels like the first film. And I think you're right. I think without the first film, it isn't as good as it is. But the first film does exist, and so I think it's unrivaled as a Star Wars film without a doubt for me.
Yeah. Is it your favorite Star Wars film, Sam?
Oh, absolutely 100%.
By an order of magnitude, like great.
Like it to me, it goes like Empire Strikes Back is the best, and then you come down a couple of steps and you've got New Hope, and you drop down a chasm and you've got Return of the Jedi, and then you fall into a different planet and you've got the rest of them. That's the sort of the.
See, I quite like Rogue One.
Well, shit.
Only because it's kind of in the same world as this. It's that. And I love this world. I don't like the new universe
or the old universe.
Yeah,
or that prequel shit.
Yeah.
And the thing as well, that it is because of the time it's made and the budget and the scope of it, it's the abstract nature of this world that makes it so inviting as a kid, because you're filling in the blanks, aren't you? Like it doesn't matter that Bespin is Cloud City's like 4 corridors, because it's not in your mind, is it? They do such a good job of leaving it to.
No, this is like proper. Magical filmmaking.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, definitely. No, there's no way that the world isn't a full world in this. I mean, it's just there's so much more.
Alex, obviously the least Star Warsy here. Where does it rank for you, especially on the rewatching now?
Yeah, this is the problem. I love A New Hope, and I did absolutely love this. But if you'd asked me. Before I rewatched New Hope, I always really liked Return of the Jedi. I really did, because I
quite like Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, because I like Luke in Return of the Jedi. I think he's a real badass, and I like his character in that film. But now on these rewatches, I think I need to rewatch Return of the Jedi to really make a decision. Because I think artistically this is the best. I think this looks.
Oh yeah.
There were moments in this that just looked. That it's so beautiful how it looks.
Yeah, and I think the characters script
are great.
Which falls flat. It looks incredible. Like the colours are just amazing. Yeah. Like he does so much with the sets.
Yeah. No, it's like you say. George Lucas needed to put all the kind of groundwork in. But when
they first get into the Millennium Falcon and it all comes on and it's all like purples and reds, and it's like this looks like incredible. Compared to what it did in the first film.
No, they spent the money well, haven't they? I mean, they've reinvested it in the right places on the sets and everything.
You think though as well, like Irving Kershner, who did direct it, when I looked at his filmography, he hadn't made anything big before this, had he? Really, he wasn't a sure thing.
No, it's all TV stuff, isn't it? It's weird.
I like watching the making of with him because he's I think he's very good.
Yeah,
he did RoboCop 2, which is not a brilliant
It's all
film.
about gags. Right, he keeps talking about gags. He goes, and I want to get this other gag in where I was like...
He didn't do a lot, did he? His career's not like...
No, it's weird, isn't it?
He did a Bond film, didn't he? But I think... Yeah. It's odd, isn't it, how he didn't really go on to other stuff.
No.
But he's clearly not a yes man, is he? Because it's got its own look to it and stuff like that. That Lucas clearly isn't bringing. So
no.
I know, like the Gary Kurtz. That's the guy who the interview with him about like what Return of the Jedi was originally was all came from that Gary Kurtz, because I think he's not involved in Return of the Jedi, is he? I think he fell out with Lucas. I think he's probably got a lot to do with why this is the way it is as well. But yeah.
Well, the big question is, where does it go on the list, and does it go above A New Hope? Who's going to go first?
It's number 1 for me.
It's number 1 for you.
Absolutely,
wow.
100%. Number 1 with no question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris?
I would put it at number 1, but I've got the Jurassic Park thing. I would put it above Aliens, but I wouldn't put it above Jurassic Park, so it's all in the wrong order for me at the moment. But I think as it stands, looking at this here, I would probably say something like 3.
3. Yeah, it's a hard one.
No, I would take. You know what? I would take 1, and I would take 3. I wouldn't take 2.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Which is weird.
Yeah, that is weird. It is hard. I mean, I'm trying to get over my, it is, would it, I'm getting over the fact that, I would judge it because it's not a standalone film. I would judge it lower, but I'm trying to get over that because ultimately we put Aliens where we did and all that. So, and it is better than The New Hope, and it is better than Predator, although I love Predator, and it is better than The Matrix.
I think it is better than Aliens as well.
I actually think it is better than Jurassic Park. I'm sorry. I think that there's the final. I think Jurassic Park.
I think only for the standalone element of it, that argument. It
is that why. Yeah, I just think Jurassic Park runs out of steam. Yeah. If anything, it picks up pace.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. No, I think it's better.
It's a space opera in the proper words of it. Like it goes all over the place, and there's comedy and there's dark bits and there's a whole new world.
A whole new world.
Exactly.
I'm happy with 1, 2, or 3 either as well. I'm not.
Let's just go 1 then.
Number 1.
It's number 1. Wow.
I mean, have we got a jingle to go with that, Sam?
No, we should have.
It's number 1. Yeah,
I think it is like, as a consensus thing, the fact that we are all putting it that high up, despite other films. I mean, to be honest, I was just looking at the list, and there isn't a better film on this list at the minute.
No, it's very good.
I think of a couple I do like more, but they're not there now. So
no, it's good. And also, actually, I mean, ultimately, my argument about but it's not standalone. But as you said, it takes everything that was good about Star Wars and makes it A New Hope and makes it better. So on that basis, it should be higher because it is it improves rather than copies or detracts. So yeah. Wow.
There we go. The last ranking of 2018, and it's a new number 1 for the first time since the 14th of March 2017.
I mean, imagine if this if Empire would have failed.
That's it. Would have all ended, wouldn't it?
It would have all been over. I
mean, what's a weird thing? I think I mentioned this when we did the trailer thing. Was it reviewed like badly? It was really like not.
That was hey. That was my final quiz.
Oh right, okay.
Do you want another quiz?
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
Oh, well, I had 3 quizzes, and my final quiz was...
It's out of control.
It is out of control. It's Christmas!
End of year special.
End of year special. My final quiz is this. Everyone loves Empire Strikes Back, don't they? So...
I like it.
I'm going to read you reviews, and you need to either say, is they talking about Empire, or are they talking about one of the prequels?
Prequels, right.
And if you can say which prequel, you get a bonus point, okay?
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
Chris can go first.
Chris can go first. Okay, right. The actors are wallpaper, the jokes are juvenile, there's no romance, and the dialogue lands with the thud of a computer instruction manual. Is that about Empire or a prequel?
Prequel.
Which prequel?
Could be any of them, couldn't it, really?
Yeah, it could be.
1.
Yes! Oh, double points. Well done. Okay, here we go. You ready, Sam?
Yeah.
The spacecraft laser battle gimmicks are familiar now, so even though these are the most special of the special effects, they are no longer so fascinating. Worse, the more one sees the main characters, the less appealing they become.
Honestly, that's Empire.
Ah, it is Empire. Yeah. Well done. Okay, Chris. It's a big, expensive, time-consuming, essentially mechanical operation. Blank is about as personal as a Christmas card from a bank. From the New York Times.
I would say prequel and 3.
It's about Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, is it?
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, wow, there you go. Okay, right. So.
Isn't it crazy? Think about how few of those films have been at that time. Even then, people were saying they're bored of like the tropes of sci-fi.
Yeah. We'll never see another Star Wars, so like, New Hope, no matter how much we want to, and we want to very much. The plot is standard, and the dialogue, even for something intended for young people, is curiously flat. It ranges from the pious to the predictive to the pathetic. What's that about?
Prequel Revenge of the Sith?
Oh, it's prequel Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
So well done. Okay, Chris. There is nothing fun about blank except maybe the opening battle, and it's not so much of an adventure as an ordeal.
Empire.
No, is that Sith?
It is Sith. Oh,
yeah,
well,
because that opening battle's really good, isn't it?
Well,
it's all right.
Okay.
Well, compared to the rest of the film.
Yeah. Who are these people? What are they up to? Why is it so hard to care about what happens to them? What's
Empire?
that about? It is about Empire. Well done. It's the Daily Telegraph.
He obviously hadn't seen Star Wars, that guy.
No, see, I did read it, and one of these reviews was like, I haven't seen the first one, but I assume, and it was like, yeah, don't really review it. Okay, Chris. The dialogue is astonishingly feeble, the acting unforgivably wooden. To paraphrase Yoda, the only creature with truly human dimensions, bored I am. What's that about?
Empire.
Oh, that's a prequel too.
Oh.
That was Revenge of the Sith. Okay, Sam. Blank is not a truly terrible movie. It's a nice movie. It's not by any means as nice as Star Wars. It's not as fresh and funny and surprising and witty, but it's nice and inoffensive, and in a way that no one associated with it needs to be ashamed of. It's also silly.
Prequel Phantom Menace?
No, that's about Empire. Okay, last one. Blank has no...
silly?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? That's the New York Times. No, it's not silly, is it? I mean, maybe they just thought science fiction was silly in those days.
That person's head exploded when Jar Jar Binks turned up.
Yeah, no, true. Blank has no plot structure, no character studies, let alone character development, no emotional or philosophical point to make. It has no original vision of the future, which is depicted as a pastiche of other junk culture formulae, such as the Western, the costume epic, and the World War II movie. Its speciality is special effects or visual tricks, some of which are playful, imaginative, and impressive, but others of which have become space movie cliches. Is that Empire or prequel?
I'd say prequel.
That's Empire as well. So they really slagged it off. Yeah, I think Sam won that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you won. Well done. Yeah, so there you go. People didn't
crazy,
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for queuing in my last quiz.
But of course, like now, if you've got Rotten Tomatoes now, it's 95% fresh. So, history's been kind.
Yeah. Will it be as kind to the prequels, though? No.
Is there a reappraisal coming for those? I don't think so, no.
Well, by us, but not really.
Well, thanks for that, Alex. Good.
That's all right. That was a long one.
Yes. We're not going to the future this time because there's no film next week. Instead, it'll be Christmas Day and there's a Christmas special. So join us for Christmas shenanigans next week. And we're back in the new year with a new film, won't we? So
yeah. Well, thank you very much. See you all at Christmas.
Bye.